how do you live in flow, right? Well, transformation and adaptability are really important in this. So if you are water, you are adaptable, flexible, and ready to transform at all times, right? Because water just keeps flowing. It's like an effortless flow of timely and decisive movement. If you think about it, it's kind of like a ballerina, like a dancer. It's graceful, but explosive movement, agility, being able to move when and exactly how you need to, just remaining in the flow, the rhythm of life. So recognizing and accepting life as it is, constantly moving, is part of the process. That can be hard for people. Some people want things to just stop. Can you just hold on for a minute so I can catch up, right? And life doesn't stop for you. So you have to learn how to flow with the rhythm of life itself. Finding that sacred tremor, the stillness amidst the chaos, finding your own rhythm in the greater melody of the symphony of life. Okay, it's a little bit poetic. But that really is basically what it is, finding your own rhythm, being able to have your own flow amongst the greater flow and all flow together. And right now, there's a lot of resistance in like the world, and that's partly because we're trying to consciously shape the future. And since so many people are conscious, they are knowingly resisting trying to steer things in whatever direction. So for a personal experience, focusing on your own journey will help you get to the future that you're trying to shape for yourself. So the waves of the mind are really important. If you think about it, everything that you experience in life is being processed through your mind. So your mind is very important. Understanding your mind, having a perspective of your own mind where you're capable of using your mind as a tool, which it is, right? Like we have so many tools at our disposal, our senses, our eyes, ears, our nose, our taste. Our mind is also a tool. It processes all of the stuff that our senses, our nose and your ears and eyes, our other tools send to this brain processing plant. And it is the tool that processes and helps us discern things in life. We use our mind to process and to judge and to determine course of action and things like that, how to navigate our own life. So when it comes to the mind is empty. So our natural state is blissful with an empty mind, stillness. And when we're capable of getting to that point at will, whenever we want, we've really mastered the mind. Recognizing that thoughts are like energy waves that travel through the mind, and we can grab onto them and make them grow by adding energy and more thought to it, or we can allow the thought wave to come in and go and not add energy to it, and it dissipates and goes away. When it comes to thinking of your mind as water, you can think of your mind as a lake, and thoughts are like energy waves or waves in the water. And if your mind is really busy, full of waves, think of your mind as water and the waves, and start to slow the waves down. Visualize it if you are a visual person, or just feel it if you're a feeling kind of person, or logically think about it if you're a logic person. But either way, any way you go, you can still use this same process. Now the waves are getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it's calm, stillness. The lake of the mind is now still. And now I can see. I can see through the water. It's clear. I can see to the bottom of my mind, and it is empty. It is calm. And that place is always there. It's just a matter of making it conscious. So when we do find this place, center, we can come back to it as often as we need to find clarity of mind, to be able to move forward with a clear lens of perception. It's really important to do this on a regular basis. And at first, you'll maybe have to put in effort to be able to get to this point. But it's just like anything else. With practice, it becomes much easier and you can get there faster. And then you don't have to spend as much time to be able to find center, because it's immediate. And then it's just always there. And you can just go back and forth. So there are steps to get there, but it does take the first step, which is bringing your awareness to your own mind to be able to get to that point, and to remind yourself to bring yourself to that point many times until it becomes a regular thing. And then you can start retraining your mind to think positive thoughts, not basically police your mind and not allow yourself to have negative thoughts about yourself or about other people, right? And if you have one of those thoughts, shift your perspective immediately, right? Once we gain awareness of mind, then we can begin to retrain our mind. And after we've retrained our mind, throughout that process, we learn so many things about how our own mind works and how our past experiences and the impressions that have been left upon us have shaped us, and how we can adjust all of it. And we can heal past things that have created maybe tendency of negative thinking, because it comes from somewhere, right? A person is not a negative or a positive thinker unless they choose to be that way, right? It becomes a conscious choice. And if you realize that negative thinking is negatively impacting your life, it becomes something that you would want to change for yourself and for the people around you. It is a process. And once we feel resistance, then we can start to understand, okay, what is this resistance? Like, where is it coming from? Because I know my mind is empty naturally. I know that thinking negatively or positively is a choice. So what's holding up transformation? What's holding up this change? Resistance to change is friction. If you want to think about it in simplistic terms, resistance is some sort of friction. There's either a lack of focus, a lack of movement, or holding on. Resistance can be caused, friction can be caused by holding on to something. So if you're imagining a river of water and the water's flowing through the river, it goes over rocks, under rocks, between rocks, over the branches, through the branches, whatever. It just keeps going. So if you are water and you're holding on, gripping onto things, it's causing friction by your lack of willingness to move, to release, to surrender, and keep flowing. So there's a few different things that you could do if you get to a point where you realize there's friction and you're trying to remove the friction. If you're having a lack of focus, there needs to be a balance brought to clarity, and doing that would come from study, like spiritual study or studying about the mind, some type of yoga, perhaps. There's so many different varieties. Raja yoga is very useful when it comes to the mind. So if it's about focus, if there's a lack of focus, like I can't see my path, I don't know where I need to go, I don't see clearly about people that I'm spending time with, or if there's just a lack of direction, that comes to balancing clarity. And if you want to start getting deep into like energy centers, that would be the upper energy centers. But we're not going to go that deep into that. So studying, grounding yourself, and learning to enhance your meditative practice. So if you are a visual person, adding in more visualizations. If you're auditory person, adding in more sound, really increasing your meditation to gain clarity, to enhance the inner stillness. So when it comes to clarity, inner stillness is really important. If it's a lack of movement, if everything's there and you're just not moving, and that's causing friction in a way of you're not moving, then the suggestion would be to balance your energy. If you're not willing to move, something's going on with your energy. Either you're lacking inner fire, motivation, or you need to cleanse yourself and restore your energy. And exercise would be another one. So dependent on the situation with energy and the reason that there's a lack of movement, there would be a rebalancing of energy in a variety of ways, whichever way is most fitting to help in the situation. But as a general rule of thumb, if it comes to balancing movement and you're doing this through rebalancing energy, we really focus on what you're eating, because that directly affects your energy. Your food body is what gives you the energetic potential for like kinetic energy, so movement. So what you're eating, exercising, cleansing your energy, restoring yourself. That's just pretty much like a clean sweep to get your energy back to what it needs to be. And if you're holding on, then obviously reflection, and releasing and surrendering. So if people are resisting letting go of things and that's stopping their flow, reflect. Why am I holding myself back, right? Why am I allowing myself to be held back by thoughts or whatever? Because it's got to come from inside. So reflect and realize that it's only thought and emotion most of the time. And release. Allow yourself to flow. Surrender to the flow. It's very mental. So when it comes to holding on to things, people can get sentimental, emotional, and that throws off energy. So it's kind of like these little obstacles, speed bumps, the resistance. It's a pretty simple, basic formula to keep flowing. Keep your mindset positive and moving towards the direction you want to go. Keep your energy moving that way, and keep your action, your thought, word, and action in alignment also. So that's what flow is all about. And then accepting there are times for action and there are times for stillness. Really maintaining the balance. Okay, so that is a good introduction into a lot of deeper issues that we're going to be talking about coming up.